It's gonna record now.
All right, there we go. Your button is firm. I had to ugh!
You gotta give it some man juice.
Is that one recording?
Yeah, at least I think so. The red light's on.
All right, cool. We're good. Let's do this.
All right.
What is up, people?
Don't point. Don't point. My camera's right there.
Okay.
You're missing all this beauty. I'm just kidding.
With your sunglasses on at night.
Goddamn right. I'm cool.
So you can keep the memories in your eyes.
Yep. Whatever that means. I still don't get those lyrics. I'm gonna blame it on Trump though.
It's all Trump's fault. Then.
Yep.
With his Trumpiness.
Yeah. I wear them because my future is so bright. I gotta wear shades. Yeah.
That's what I say to that.
Anyways, back to what we were talking about.
So yeah, what the fuck is going on, man? Like, oh, good question, listeners. What have we been up to?
I honestly don't know. I've been living life, you know. Trying not to get shot out here.
Yeah, those are my three objectives. Like,
so
stay alive, don't get shot by the police or civilians.
I got a question.
And not get COVID.
When the fuck did this become Chicago?
Oh, dude, this is it's bad out here. I don't even.
Keep going, man.
I don't even know what to make of the situation, man. Like, it's like a combination of, like, Chicago, like mid-90s Detroit, and like
San Francisco,
and like Los Angeles in like 92.
And San Francisco.
Either
San Francisco or fuck San Francisco. San Francisco or fucking Portland, Oregon.
Oh yeah, those guys.
Because we got it's like hippie fucking city here.
It is. But,
super
but all
artsy.
the looters decided to come here. You know what's funny is that I don't even believe that half the people that are causing all this havoc are even from here. Be it the looters or the fucking shooters or the, just like the motherfuckers that are out on the streets. Like downtown's a big clusterfuck of crime and homelessness and shit. And
the whole city's got fucking homeless people everywhere now.
Well, not yet. I mean, now. But like downtown's homeless people, you used to be able to tell like those guys are from here. You just knew those homeless people. You saw them every day. It's like a whole new breed of people down there, and it's all homeless people downtown right now.
Yeah,
like there's nobody working, there's nobody like shopping. It's
they're shopping. They're just not paying.
And they're shopping at the wrong establishments too.
Goddamn right, man. Like, but you know what? I like to look at it. Like, I'm a little nervous about like where like the whole economy of Minneapolis is gonna go, because like, but all of these businesses getting destroyed and like Target and everything.
The economy was going down before the businesses were getting destroyed.
But what I'm saying is they're pulling out.
They were doing that before. Okay, so I was before the second string of riots.
But where the fuck where's Target gonna go? You know what I mean? Like they go to any other state to say bullshit.
Target has no choice but to stick around. But
not
like
anymore.
I mean, they're gonna. They're from here. They're gonna. Like they'll lose so much face. That's why Delta didn't move their headquarters outside of Minneapolis when they took over Northwest Airlines. You see what I'm saying? Like they'll get a whole bunch of shit. It'd be like when LeBron left Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
So but they don't want to deal with that shit. But like just before the initial riot when George Floyd got killed, and then definitely after, like a few weeks after that, there was a thing on the news saying that like there was over 3 dozen businesses, like it was like 41 or 42 businesses in downtown alone that were talking about pulling out. And then this shit happened like a week ago, and now everybody's like, bye. Like, you just settled it for us, because they were talking about, oh, well, we can't hire nobody, COVID, we can't reopen, COVID. And then all this shit popped off downtown, like when Target and Brits Pub and all that shit got looted.
Yeah.
And now everybody's pulling out for certain.
Well, yeah.
Like, a lot of their customers are like, we won't come back here if you're still downtown.
Right. Well, and not only that, like, they pay extra money to be downtown.
Yeah.
They pay extra taxes. They have to pay extra for fucking...
You have to pay extra taxes just to shop at those buildings downtown.
Them motherfuckers had to pay me extra to work on their shit. No shit. Because It costs more money. I have to pay for parking and all this extra bullshit that's looped into working downtown. Costs way more money.
Mm-hmm.
It just does. So like
it's just like that at the Mall of America, just because it's prime real estate.
And
that's
you know how much
taxed,
glass has been fucking broken in the last fucking 6 months?
Yo, Big Glass is killing it right now. They're the only rich people on the planet.
That and the toilet paper companies.
I don't know if people are still hoarding toilet paper, are they?
Bro, check the shelves. You don't go grocery shopping very much, do you?
I do when I can. I eat a lot of fast food.
I know.
Or I get like gas station salads.
But it's just rough. I'm worried not just for like business. It's like for everybody, like the whole thing. Like most people don't realize like the right hand shakes the left and wipes its ass and yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of business being lost, but I think, like I was telling you before, like the economy's got to move from this idea of exponential growth, anyways, and shrink down to community level. Like I feel like that's the only way it's going to be able to sustain itself. Little micro economies in the economy. You know what I mean?
Right.
And keep that community based. I mean, that's what's going to be like. Most of the new businesses that you see are all like mom and pops.
Well, like when Cub got looted after Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Because mind you, for those of you who aren't from here, Cub Foods is a franchise of grocery stores. It's kind of like a Kroger if you went to Detroit. And
or a Whole Foods.
Or like a Whole Foods, but like not really a Whole Foods.
No, it's not.
It's like your normal pleb grocery store. So like
or your IGAs.
Yeah, like an IGA or like a New Market or a Super Value, whatever.
Whatever you guys got across this weird fucking country.
But they got looted several times, and then when they decided to reopen, for some stupid reason, Cub was like, let's not call it Cub Foods, let's call it Cub Community Market.
Yeah.
So, but it's the same fucking building. They got the same shit everybody else got.
Yeah.
They just changed their name because they don't want to get attacked no more.
Yeah, because it's community. But, I mean, in reality, most people that worked at that Cub lived, like, fucking close.
Right there, yeah.
This is a shitty Cub in the first place. I mean, let's be real.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there like a fuck ton of times.
That Cub was shitty from day one.
Yep.
Like, I went there the first night they were open, because I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go there at night, because that's when shit gets real. Sure enough, I get there, they had police on scene already. Like, not like they were apprehending people, but they were like, just there, like it was a liquor store or some shit.
Yeah, I still kind of like wonder why the liquor store is such a chill spot for everybody. Like they just want to kick it in front of the liquor store. Like, damn, why didn't you kick it in front of Byerly's? At least people got money going
we moved our store to the strip mall.
Yeah.
And we don't get that many people kicking it in front of that bitch no more.
Yeah.
It's too high traffic. We're like very conspicuous now. So motherfuckers don't want us to be kicking it there. We do still get like the occasional panhandler, but they keep that shit out in the parking lot now. And the parking lot's kind of across the street from us now. So
yeah.
But yeah, motherfuckers love kicking it in front of the liquor store.
I don't know.
We never did that shit.
I don't know. I know. It's a fucking bad idea.
Terrible.
I mean, not just for like how it looks, but you get fucked with by the cops a lot.
You get fucked with by everybody in front of the liquor store.
Right. Like, it's not even a safe place for drug dealers.
You could be out there like, hey, man, I need like 50 cents, man. I just need that one more drink. I just need 50 cents. I'm 50 cents short. And everybody will pass you up. And then you'll encounter one motherfucker. And before you open your mouth, he'll be like, hey, man, I need like 35 cents.
That's how I avoid conflict, man. So, like, say I'll be walking down the street. That's how I used to do it. Like, motherfucker would come up and ask me, look like he's asking me for some money. Because I see them eyeballing me and walking directly at me. So, just before they get close enough, I'm like, hey, man, you got $1? I preemptively let them know I'm broke.
No, that's why I always dress like I'm broke now, man, because I used to like looking nice and shit. But then, like, I stay out late.
Yeah.
So I be walking through the hood on my way home, and motherfuckers, like, I just look like a target to motherfuckers. Whether, even if I was, like, wearing just, like, a regular-ass, like, T-shirt and jeans at the time, you know what I mean? Like, right. I just looked like a target to motherfuckers. And it didn't help that, like, I to this day look a lot younger than what my actual age is. Yeah. So they're like, let's just rob this kid and punch him in the face a couple times. But nowadays, I just dress bummy as fuck when I'm going to and from. I don't want nobody messing with me. I want to look homeless as fuck. I want a hole in my jeans, a foot long.
Congratulations, you pulled it off.
I have. I haven't gotten robbed since like 2007.
Yep. And you do look homeless a lot.
A lot.
It works. You look like a homeless dude who lives behind a dumpster and then goes to work. It kind of looked like if Will Smith didn't have a suit.
Like back when I was single, man, it really fucked up my game because like I could like look as good as I want to be in the face if I was confident like in that area. Like I'm fucking good looking, you know what I'm saying? But like, I mean, I don't think I'm not confident in that area, but you know what I'm saying? Like if I was just like, like looking homeless ain't finna help. It's just not gonna help.
I don't know, man. Vagabonds have like stories to tell.
They do.
But I don't know. You might not get the kind of female attention that you desire, but you'll get some. Yeah, I mean, granted, you'll probably have to share a needle or two with the people. But, you know, share a
maybe
sandwich.
split a can of beans. Yeah,
you know.
Thank God I'm not single.
So, like, okay, let's just do a timeline, like. Because, I mean, Minneapolis has always been, like, up and down with, like, violence, right?
Oh, yeah.
Some years are better than others. You know? And, 2020 just happens to be a really shit year. And I want to say, like, before George Floyd happened, like, the whole COVID thing happened, and people are already starting to show their colors because of it.
Oh, yeah.
And then we roll right into George Floyd getting fucking killed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now, like, here we are. A lot of things happened between George Floyd and this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and not even just here in Minnesota.
It's everywhere now.
Everywhere. Like, George Floyd kind of was, like, the catalyst that, like, ignited that explosion, though. You know what I mean? Like, nobody was protesting like we was protesting until everybody found out that we were protesting for some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like everybody all at once was like across the world like, oh man, the cops should really stop doing this shit. Because it started here, then it like stayed within the nation's borders, and then somehow the rest of the world was like, yeah, you right. So now you got like Japan protesting, and fucking Germany, and that was Germany, that was Sweden. I'm sorry, and I think London. England.
Fucking
I think it's definitely a catalyst of some kind. You know what I mean? Because back when it was like Jamar Clark or like Philando Castile.
Or
that
Tamir
shit stayed in house. Yeah, Tamir Rice, that shit stayed in house. Fucking Michael Ferguson, that stayed in house. It wasn't like when what's the other kid's name I'm thinking of? Everybody tried to commercialize hoodies and shit for that shit. Trayvon Martin.
Oh, yeah.
That shit stayed in house. Like, everybody was pissed off. Like, I was here sitting there talking about it and being angry about it. But what nobody here, like, we should go do something about it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, like, there was definitely a straw that broke a certain camel's back. And that camel happens to be racism.
Yep.
And it just coincidentally started here. Here was the straw that fell on the back of said racist camel.
Fucking, what was her name? Breonna Taylor.
That happened just after, or no, it was before. Just before George Floyd.
Yeah,
and then the guy that got caught on that street justice bullshit while he was jogging, and he wasn't even the dude that was supposedly like doing anything in their neighborhood.
Oh yeah, then they shot his ass.
Shot his ass dead.
But that wasn't even a cop. Well, I mean, I guess it was. They were retired police and like the whole family. You know how that works.
Yeah, but it was straight up vigilante justice. You know what I mean? Like, and it wasn't even real justice.
Kind of like how that kid in Kenosha was over there fucking shooting people.
Oh, then the fucking that shit was bullshit. I seen the footage when the cop shot that dude, and all he was doing was walking to his car.
Which dude?
In Kenosha, the cop, the one that got shot by the cops.
Yeah.
He just opened up his car, and then pow, that was it.
No, I'm talking about that.
Oh no, that fucking kid. No, that kid. I don't know how he had enough time to turn himself in when he was kicking it with the police for a hot minute after he done shot and killed some people.
I don't know. I honestly don't know the whole. I've seen
like he went and spoke to the police for like 2-3 minutes.
Yeah, they gave him water.
Yeah.
All I know is I don't know whether that happened before or after.
Before or after the cops killed that dude in Kenosha? It was definitely after.
No, before or after he talked to the cops that he shot some people. I don't know that. I don't know. I haven't had reliable.
A lot of people are speculating that it happened after he shot those people.
Yeah,
and I don't find it incredible. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think that it's something that I wouldn't be surprised about.
No, I wouldn't be either. But I'm not gonna say that's what happened without knowing either. You know,
right?
Because well, just a perfect example. Like you didn't know what that dude shot himself downtown.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what popped off was that people said that the cops shot him, and then like I saw a video of him getting him shooting himself, but nobody else knew that.
Well, because everybody had a different narrative,
right?
Like even the media for a hot minute had a different narrative. Like they were saying that they were encountering the dude because he shot somebody in the parking ramp over there by a Nicollet Mall, and then they said that when they confronted him, he shot himself. There was very little detail in that story,
right?
But then, after people lost their shit that first night, they interviewed a bunch of guys that were there, and apparently they were claiming to be there, non-violently protesting and shit like that. But they were on the scene where all the shit was going down, and they were saying oh well, nah man, we was down the street from that shit, man, and we don't think that he shot himself, blah blah blah, right? And so me and several other people on the internet were like, it's really just the cops' word against ours, because that's kind of what it was. Like the cops told the media that story of the dude shooting himself, and that was the story we were supposed to buy.
Right.
So it wasn't until you showed me that leaked footage that I'm like, oh, okay, that's different. This shit's fucked up now.
Yeah, I mean, but that's not the first time that's happened. That shit happened last month in Chicago with the girl who got shot. You know, maybe it's been 2 months now, and I think right now there's a lot of people fucking being opportunists during these protests. No shit.
Oh no, yeah, I definitely agree with you on that.
Oh yeah, no, dude. Yeah, I mean, we were there.
It's just it's just hard to fucking believe anybody's narrative at the same time during all this shit, because everybody's fucking lost their shit. You've got the police saying one thing, you've got the news coverage saying another thing, you've got the public saying another thing, and then everybody's shooting, so you can't tell who shot who now.
Yep.
It's just fucked up. The whole situation's fucked up.
Yep. For a while there, I was like, all right, cool. A protest, the rising, people were gonna fucking get some shit figured out. But it just got things more confusing. It really did. It was so much more confusing now. And then you top it on this election year, dude. This is you know what? Or I did some research, and I fucking looked up the cause of death for everything, heart disease, homicide, suicide, respiratory illness, flu, you name it. I've looked across the board. The rates have jumped high
for everything.
Wow. Yeah, not just COVID, but everything.
Is it because of stress?
I don't know.
At least for the natural causes.
I would think so, maybe, or maybe the lack.
Well, actually, no, for everything. No. Stress can kill people, with other people.
But then, just hear me out. Just think about this. The hospitals are cram-packed with COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or that's what they're geared for. That's what they're geared towards. Plus, a lot of these new hospital visits aren't even hospital visits. They're via internet, you know?
Right.
So people aren't getting seen when they really need to be seen.
They're not getting fucking, like, tests run and shit like
no
that.
test run. This is just a consultation, basically. Yeah. Like, you might as well be looking at fucking WebMD at this point.
Oh, I've got cancer.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, these are their symptoms, and they're looking like, it could be this, it could be this. But without any tests, we don't know shit. So, I mean, now you got a bunch of people who aren't being able to make it to the doctors. Plus, a lot of people lost their insurance, you know, during fucking work and this, that, and the other thing because of COVID. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Hospitals are overcrowded, and stress. And the fact that more people are murdering each other. It's just, the homicide is up across the globe right now.
It's, man.
I don't know if it's across the globe. I just know.
I know here it's bad.
In Minnesota, it's bad. But even the United States as a whole, like, it's just up there.
Do you know we're already up at, like, was it 50? We're at, like, 50 homicides now.
Yeah.
And the year's not even done. And last year we were at 48.
Oh, that's like
for the whole year.
Different. Oh, for the whole year.
Yeah.
I like you were saying like 48
for the whole year, and it's only August.
Right.
And we're at 50, son.
Yeah, that's not too bad compared to Chicago, but we don't have the population.
All I'm saying is that the year's half over. We're already at 50.
You gotta look at the sunny side. We're still not Chicago.
Winter's finna come and shit's gonna cool off and people might chill the fuck out.
Yeah, but I mean
there's shit's still gonna go
homicides.
down because like we're in an election year.
There's a lot of people that didn't die. There's like over 96 shootings, well over 96 shootings. And these are people that lived and died. So I mean, there's a lot of casualties of street war going on right now.
I think there'll be a whole lot more soon if Trump takes office at the end of this next election year.
Yep.
It's going to be bad. I feel like the whole country's going to set itself on fire. So we're going to have to just build from the ashes.
So you see how much willingness racist people are willing to go, or nationalists, or whatever you want to call them, are willing to go to kill people under like the guise of fucking patriotism or whatever, right? And there's a lot of people that support that shit. I see it all over the fucking internet, dude. Especially on a Facebook group on Facebook. but
wait, where was it?
It
was Twitter. It was
my
Facebook
face.
Is it a Facebook group on Twitter?
Yes, Facebook group on Twitter. But it was a Joe Rogan group, and there's people posting like comics of the dude who got shot in the chest with a skateboard by that fucking kid.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and they're just making jokes about it, and everybody's laughing it up, and they're like, that kid's a patriot, he did right, he was just protecting a business. And then
now this isn't a group that Joe Rogan himself made. This is just a group that somebody's like, oh, I'm a fan.
Yes, it's a fan group, but it's like tons of fucking people. It's not like 1,000. We're talking like 500,000 people in this group, maybe even more. And they're all like super supporting a lot. Not all of them, but a lot. You know, are supporting this shit, and I'm like, whoa. And then I'm thinking, why is property more valuable than life? You know what I mean? Because
I feel like some people feel like property is more valuable than life, just because
most people do. Like a lot of people got upset, like of the burning of everything when everybody got pissed off and destroyed shit.
If you look at like all the people who have all the haves versus like the have-nots, all the haves are never worried about their own lives or the lives of others, just because of the simple fact that they feel like they're gonna be the have-nots without it. You know what I mean? So it's a big fear of like going back to that. And if you looked at like after the first riots that we had in like May/June,
it was like the 27th.
It was like the 27th through like the 31st or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But there was a fucking a Republican-led committee to present to, was it like the governor or some shit like that? There's like some shit that happened here, and it was a Republican-led thing. I could pull up the video later on, but like they were saying like they were saying like, oh, well, this is the reason why we need to keep the police, or is the reason why we need to keep funding the police and give them more money. And what they were saying was like, or what they did was like they gathered all these business owners and shit, and they even had like that one token black business owner, and he was on the same level as everybody else. Oh, boo-hoo. I have broken windows. My insurance will cover it, but I'm still sad. You know, shit like that. Like there was like having like these sob ass stories like, I didn't know what to do, so all I could do was flee. Like, that's what you're supposed to do, motherfucker. Like, and then it was like, you know, like a bunch of tears and sobs and exaggerated stories of motherfuckers like who were like, oh, well, all I had to do was what any normal American would do and get my gun. And it was just a big fucking piece of work. And then, like, I think, what was it? They did it again when Trump came to visit just recently. Like, a bunch of business owners, like, went and talked to him and tried to give them their sob story and shit. And I get it. Like, especially if you came up from, like, nothing, you know what I mean? And, like, you had to work and fight tooth and nail to get that shit. That's going to fucking hurt a little bit. But what's more important, you know what I mean? Like, your life and the lives of others around you that are also in your establishment, or, like, a couple of dollars in the long run. And, you know, like, it wasn't every business owner that was saying that shit. That, you know, I mean, Troy down here at Paradise, cool as fuck. He was there in the shits. Like, Broadway, all of Broadway was on fire, you know what I mean? And he was there just serving pizza. Like, he just put boards up and kept doing him. So, McDonald's was flipping burgers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like,
had to eat, though.
Right? So, you know, and a lot, if not all, of the black-owned businesses here were pretty okay. Like, none of them really got hit. Mm-hmm. If they did, it wasn't that bad. But out of all the businesses that went to this whole thing that I had first mentioned, and then, like, when they went to go when Trump had visited, it's just a bunch of, like, right voting ass motherfuckers, you know what I mean? Including said token black dude that I mentioned earlier.
Well, that's like what I've always said. Like, anybody who's, not everybody, but I mean, just think of it as like most people who have money interests are for Trump because, like, he gives them what they want. You know what I mean? So, I mean, a lot of people who came from nothing, make money, they're trying to protect their investment. They're going to vote Trump. You see it a lot. That's just how it happens. Because he's looking out for the person who owns the businesses with all of these tax breaks and yada, 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 you know, trying to keep money in the people who make its hands, I guess. Except for, you know, how shit works. There's, like, no way to force anybody to pay people more. They're pissy about them trying to raise the fucking minimum wage to a living wage, which, I mean, I don't understand why they can't do that, you know?
We got the money for it. They just pump it all into the military and the police.
Well, not just that, but, like, okay, I get it. You own a business. You want to keep a lot. What's the point of owning a business if you're not going to be able to keep
we've talked about this before. You know, and it's a lot. It's got a lot to do with, like, the insurance game too. Because, especially now, by mandate, you have to, if someone's working over 30 hours, at least here in Minnesota, like, they have to pay your insurance.
Right.
So what they're doing now, because hospitals want to still overcharge you for everything.
Right. And
they still want to give you shit-ass insurance. And so now the state's in on it, too. Like, I applied for state insurance not that long ago, like a year ago. And it's trash. Like, it's still just as much as if I was getting it from any other job, and I get the worst benefits. You might as well have me working for the state then, if that's the case. But, like, since we live in a society where, like, it's like neo-libertarian, like, it's not a true democracy, or, like, it's not like a true, like, government where, like, it looks out for its people. Like, literally everybody else, Canada, Sweden, Norway, like, they're looking out for their people, you know what I'm saying? There might be, like, higher taxes or some shit like that, but the people are taken care of, like, all the fucking time, no matter what. And here it's up to our employers to do that shit. And if our employers can't do it, now it's up to the state. And they're both on the same shit because they know how much it costs for fucking hospitals and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
So what they do is when they ask you that question on your application, like, how much do you think, or what's your ideal starting rate? If they want to know how much you think you're worth, just because they can either A, say like you're overqualified for the job, or B, basically say we'll hire you, but we think you're worth this much, and it's usually like way the fuck less than what you're asking for. And they do that because they it's the truth. They think you're only worth so much. So they put you at whatever their starting rate is, or even minimum wage, which is, federal minimum wage is still low as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
It's like $7 an hour or some shit like that. It's crazy. And so they'll do that, and then they're like, okay, well, because we're not paying you that much, we're gonna pay for your insurance. They try to make it seem like they're looking out for you, but then your insurance is trash, and then you go to the hospital and they don't have price tags on whatever the fuck they're doing to you at the hospital. So then you get this fucking bill in the mail for whatever your insurance can't cover, and so on and so forth. So I just gave up on doing that shit.
Well, they also adjusted for like certain types of insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you got state insurance, they jack up the price because they know the fucking state will cover it.
Yeah.
Whereas you got like Geico or private, they
a lot of private insurance that you get, you still have to come out of pocket. There's always like a copay.
There's always a copay.
It's fucking bullshit.
It's money.
It's not insurance if you're coming out of pocket.
It's a business.
After already coming out of pocket. Like so like car insurance. Still
a business.
No, but okay, car insurance, right? If I take my car to the mechanic just to get an estimate, do I gotta pay a copay for that shit because I have car insurance? No.
You still have to pay them.
No, exactly. But like, I'm not paying my insurance company as well. You know what I'm saying? Like the mechanic's not gonna be like, okay, well, your insurance is only covering me this much. You have to pay me this much. That only happens if you crash your car or some shit.
Yeah.
My body shouldn't be treated the same way as a fucking car. So I don't get insurance no more. Like, I mean, if my job will pay for it, fuck it, I'll take it. But like, I'm not gonna make an effort to get it from the state or nobody else on my own, because this shit is bullshit here. Nimesh Patel said it best. He said, he doesn't really believe that he deserves insurance, and even if he goes without insurance and like they try to come at him for like medical bills and shit like that, he's like, no, I'm not paying that shit. And they're like, why? Because you already gave me the medicine. And then that's the end of it.
But yeah, that's like the whole thing. It's like a whole money game, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole everything is a money game. That's why I'm like, there isn't a branch of anything that's not corrupt. I'm not just talking the government. I'm talking like anything. Like any business, most people would lie or cheat a little bit just to get a little bit further ahead, especially to get off of the ground with the business. Because this shit's really fucking hard. I mean, it's designed that way to keep you fucking poor. That's why benefits are always best if you're fucking not doing shit. Like, I can get Minnesota state insurance because if I don't have a job or this or that, they'll give me free insurance, right? If I have kids, fuck, I'm getting all kinds of benefits. I'm getting food stamps. I'm getting and the incentive.
But the minute you start working,
yes, exactly,
that shit's either gone
That's
or
what
you're
I'm saying.
coming way the fuck out of pocket.
What's the incentive? The incentive is to stay at home and not do shit, not be about anything, not go to fucking progress on any scale. They don't want you to be fucking like making your own decisions and making your own moves. It takes
expanding your horizons or any of that shit.
Right. And when I say they, I don't know who the fuck I'm talking about. But
yo, since we're talking about this government shit for a minute, can we talk about? Have you heard about this whole QAnon shit?
Yeah.
So I just don't buy it. I don't know why anybody else would buy it. It just seems like a fucking fan fiction, like a Trump fan fiction.
Yeah.
Like, everybody already knows that, like, there's already, like, a bunch of pedophiles in control of shit. I mean, Jeffrey Epstein coming into light just fucking brought that shit out in the open. But, like, they're trying to say, like, oh, Trump's gonna fight all the pedophiles, and Trump's gonna basically drain the swamp. You know what I mean? It's like all that shit all over again, and how he's like this secret undercover hero detective that's gonna fight all the corruption, but he's done and said the most corrupt shit possible in the last, what year is it? 6 years? 4 years. I mean, almost 4 years.
Oh my God! If he's been here for 6 years, God bless us all.
It feels like it's been 6 years. You know, this pandemic's got me in this weird like time jello where I don't know what day or year it is anymore.
This year is a weird year. A lot of weird things have happened this year. A lot of fucked up things.
Mm-hmm.
Got like crazy hurricanes and pandemics and plagues and fucking Kobe Bryant dying and fucking...
I forgot about the whole bubonic plague thing that's happening out in the West.
Yep. Black Panther died just like 2 days ago. It's just, you know...
I still can't believe you thought it was Kendrick Lamar.
Well, no, you know what I mean? That's what I said when I first saw his face. I was like, is that Kendrick Lamar? I was like, oh no, it's Chadwick Boseman. But I was like, damn, that's too bad. You know, It happens. It's not like the first time a normal person has died. Basically,
yeah.
Like everybody.
I mean, just he's popular, but he's still a regular dude.
Yep, like anybody else. But the crazy thing is, people have drawn so many lines in the sand. Like it's impossible to do anything without being put on a side of a fence.
Mm-hmm.
And it's ridiculous.
Dude, us having this podcast right now, we're gonna get put on one side of the fence or the other.
I don't fit.
Just because
I don't
of
fit
the
on
shit that we talk about.
any of their fences. This is my land.
Right, but I mean, like, I could say, I don't even know, man. I can't even come up with a good example, man. I could say some shit like chicken and waffles is racist, and I don't believe that, by the way, but like, if I said it with enough tone in my voice where I sounded serious, I'd have a million motherfuckers, like if I was popular enough, I'd have a million motherfuckers like, nigga, what the fuck you talking about? Or like, oh, you're racist for saying it's racist, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there's just a lot of people who are high strung to the point where like, you can't fucking speak freely about shit anymore. And I feel like you should be able to speak. I mean, there is the freedom of speech. You know what I'm saying? You should be able to speak as free as you want, as long as you're not hurting nobody's feelings. You know what I'm saying? As long as you're saying, like, look, this is my opinion.
Well, here's the thing.
You know what I mean?
Somebody's feelings are always going to be hurt. That's just how it goes. As long as somebody's got a dog in the fight, they're going to be fucking defensive.
Okay, maybe not hurting their feelings, but like as long as you're not being like malicious in the sense of like, you know, like, I'm going to start a hate group.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's pretty...
But it's fucked up because freedom of speech still allows that bullshit.
Yeah, but here's the other thing.
It's a double-edged sword.
Even if you do make a group, it gets fucking perverted and misused, and fucking a lot of things get carried underneath the flag that, you know...
Probably like how that fucking Joe Rogan group got.
Yeah. Exactly. Because we all know, like however Joe Rogan is, whatever, but we know, like, a free thinker, or more or less, or at least somebody who's willing to learn.
Okay, so what about like groups like North Talk, or like what's the other one?
Exactly. Or any group, every group.
So like, do you think that it started with the intention of looking out for our neighborhood, or do you think it started with the intention of these people like, what's his name, Philip?
I honestly believe
like just to like talk shit about black people in the neighborhood. You know what I mean?
I feel like it was everybody. I feel like every group starts off with their intentions, and it always gets perverted, no matter what.
By themselves or by somebody else?
Well, everybody. You can't control the ideas of everybody in that group. I mean, you know how many fucking people were like doing fucked up shit underneath, like,
I feel like that
any protest.
I feel like
I
that.
mean, you name it.
I mean, and I'm playing the devil's advocate here, but like, can't you control the ideas of other people? Like, look at fucking... God, I hate that the words are coming out of my mouth right now, but look at Hitler. He controlled the ideas of like a whole country For like how long? You know what I mean? And I'm not saying like, hey, we should like fucking write manifestos and be manipulative and shit like that, but like I feel like that's why some of those groups are being made. You know what I mean? Like because someone wants to push an objective.
I mean, obviously they that's the whole reason behind it. They have their fucking reasons, but they get perverted. Like, okay, simple things like this, like a bunch of people were hashtagging Black Lives Matter for a little white kid getting shot in the yard, right?
Right.
How is that in protest? You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
So, I mean, there's people out there who are underneath flags just thinking the most wild shit.
Well, like, okay, what about, okay, so there's the idea that all these fucking riots and burnings and lootings and shit and shootings is all a result of Black Lives Matter. One person had that idea, and it fucking caught on like wildfire. And now I'm on the internet at just random intervals of the day like, y'all niggas need to wake the fuck up. Like, because why? Why, if for years this movement has been non-violently protesting, why would like just now we just be like, let's go rob some shit?
Right. But that's what I'm saying. People are using that as a guise, you know, to move around, and that's how it happens. Like, when I went through and I saw fucking them ripping into the tobacco shop, and I'm like, y'all look like y'all from Chicago. What the fuck are you doing? Oh, and they're just tearing into the fucking tobacco shop, and I'm like, this doesn't help. Like,
no, it doesn't. That's another thing that, like, okay, so I get where like a lot of the older / wealthier black folk are coming from, because they're like, oh, all this looting and rioting, it's abhorrent, blah blah blah. And on the more farther right side of things in those conversations, I've heard a couple of these niggas say like, well, this wouldn't happen if you just listen to the police. Fuck that shit. But like, going back to the other shit, you know, like, I agree with them. It's fucked up, you know, like, it shouldn't have happened, but it happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the language of the unspoken, is what Martin Luther King said, you know what I mean? Or the unheard, some shit like that, you know what I mean? Like, and if you're not gonna listen to motherfuckers, like, if I was sitting here talking to you the whole time, and you were just like, oh la 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 la, like the whole time, I'd be like, what the fuck? Like, I'm not gonna set your shit on fire, but I'm gonna be upset. You know what I'm saying? So right. Like, I also get that shit. You know, God, what was her name? She got some attention when she had did that interview, but she said it the best. I forget her name, and I'm so sorry that I don't remember your name, Miss Lady, but like, she said, you know, like, they're lucky that black people are out here for equality and not out for revenge. And that's the whole thing that, like, all the older people are missing out on. Like, that's the whole thing that everybody's missing out on. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's concerned about property and shopping and fucking whether or not the police are coming or going. And no one's really concerned about the simple fact that that idea has never not crossed our minds. Like, for generations, I'm pretty certain there's been at least, for every like 500 black person, there's been at least 10 niggas that's just been like, revenge is possible. and then somebody would probably talk them out of it, you know what I mean? Because it's the smart thing to do, is to like not be outnumbered in those kind of situations. And like, it's just, so okay, so you have the nonviolent protesters, right? And I know I'm going all over the place, but eventually I'll make sense. So you have like the nonviolent protesters, and they're trying real hard not to fucking loot and riot. You know what I'm saying? The perfect example was like the day before I went to the protest with you guys. So when you were there at that Target, or near that Target, and nobody was looting, nobody was rioting, right?
Right.
And then everybody who was getting tear gassed and rubber bulleted up and shit, shot with rubber bullets, They ran to Target because they needed water, milk, all that shit. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Target was basically like, no, you can't have it. And
that was the narrative that I heard from the people coming back from Target.
Right. So eventually, at some point, somebody with that narrative passed enough people's ears, you know what I'm saying? Somebody was like, well, if I can't buy it, I'm going to take that shit.
Right.
And that's exactly how it started.
Right.
Who knows who's in the wrong in that situation?
Yep.
Is Target wrong for doing that shit? Possibly. Because, I mean, you shouldn't be turning down business.
If that's how it goes, and I mean, for a lack of a better term, in war, it's a million different narratives, and the one that gets told, you know, is the one that's doing all the fucking shit.
or here's the other side of that token. What if everybody was out there just being nonviolent, and it was because of the fact that the police were out there being reckless that everybody was just like, ah!
I can tell you this fucking much. Being there and seeing, like, it go from just a protest to fucking people, like, okay, at first there was, like, a lot of people up in front, right?
Right.
And they did it over on Chicago Avenue first, right? And then the next day, I think we made it to the fucking precinct. The cops were chilling, doing their thing, and then everybody else was there doing their thing with their fucking signs and shit. And people from the back, like way back, not even the ones that were chanting or in the crowd, but just the back, just fucking people fucking being assholes, right? They're not, they're just there for the spectacle of it, are throwing shit, right? And the cops are shooting tear gas back and forth, and it just starts off with like little fucking things, you know? And then you got guys who look like cops in the fucking crowd, like trying to get people to do shit, or trying to get people to burn the fucking AutoZone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we saw this dude, this white guy, this tall ass white dude in black, right? And he was like trying to get people to throw rocks and like do all this extra shit. And I'm like, oh, that guy's a fucking cop, you know. Everybody was, some people were like, I don't know, like, I think that guy's a cop, you know. And I'm like, that dude's a fucking cop. I thought he was a fucking cop.
You told the dude that set the AutoZone on fire?
Yeah, the guy who started fucking throwing bricks or block shit through the window, right? The guy. Anyways, he was like instigating, and he wasn't the only one. There's like a lot of other people.
We were talking about that because it happened elsewhere too. A bunch of, like, what did you call them? Provocateurs?
Yeah, provocateurs, man, or provocateurs.
Provocateurs, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that shit, and it really is. Like, once you get the ball fucking rolling, that emotion carries over, and it's just like being at a fight or in a boxing match or whatever. You're watching this shit, you're getting hyped.
Mm-hmm.
So the more that happens, it takes it up a notch, and it takes it up a notch, and another thing happens. Somebody throws a rock, the cops start shooting back. Oh, now they're shooting shit at us, you know, tear gas and fucking rubber bullets, and then you want to fight back, and it's just a big push and pull at that point. And by the third day, I'm yelling at people. Like, get the fuck out of the precinct. You're going to go to jail.
That was the third day?
That was the third day.
Oh, so you went 2 days in a row before I went?
Yeah.
Because I thought you only went that one day.
No.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I wanted to go those first 2 days, but then, like, I got caught working, and I can't just call in, like, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't come into work. I got to go fight for my rights.
Right.
So when I just lucked out I guess your third day, because I went to work. I was there for like 15 minutes. Shit started popping off from Brooklyn Center, and the police came into my job like, y'all should just close up and go. And we just left. And so I was like, fuck it, man. I'm gonna go fight for my rights.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's when they burnt that bitch down, when they set the precinct on fire. That shit. Me and Jasper were right in front of it. So, like, we couldn't find you because you were off looking for rocks or some shit. And me and Jasper were, by the time, like, we had got to that point where we're in front of the precinct, we're standing in there, and we seen somebody throw a rock. So Jasper picked up a rock, and I picked up a rock, and we threw it in the same hole that the other rocks went in. But then we seen a Molotov cocktail fly over our heads. Woof! And it fucking went into the window. I don't think it ignited. I think the rag must have fell out in the bushes or some shit like that. But then Jasper was right next to me. Burn it down! And he was just joking. Everybody else was like, yeah! And then you guys showed up. And then, no, actually, that was way before that. But then you guys showed up when right after Bell was like, yeah! And I think you had took off to go do something else. But then I had heard somebody say something about the gas lines got cut. And then you came back and said something about the gas lines getting cut. And the whole time I'm like, they've been talking about burning this shit down for like the last 15 minutes. We should go. I'd been saying we should go for like that amount of time too. I was like, yo, we should go. We should go.
Yeah, no, the cops moved from the front of the precinct, and then they were up on the roof and aligning the fucking side, and then they moved to the back parking lot, and then that's like where everybody focused their energy, and I was along the fence, along the corner, and there was a guy standing there along the fence, like screaming, and they shot him in the fucking face with a rubber bullet.
Oh no!
And knocked him, not a rubber bullet, a fucking canister, right?
A tear gas canister?
Yeah, it's like boom, blew up right in his face, right?
Oh, those fuckers!
And he got knocked out and was laying, and then I just keep seeing more tear gas and rubber bullets like coming towards him, like through the fence. Right? And
that's so fucked
yes,
up. Right? For one dude?
Yeah, and so I run over to grab the guy by his arm, and somebody else helps him and grabs him, like, so we're both dragging him across the street.
Was this before, like, right after, or, like, during, like, them trying to set the shit on fire?
Oh, this is just before, because the moment that happened, everybody fucking lost their shit, and they rushed the gates, right? And the gates tipped over, and
I remember that.
The police.
And they knocked over the shot spotter thingy. You remember the thing with the camera on it and the lights?
Yep.
They tipped that bitch over.
Yep. And then the cops left out of the parking lot, right? And then that's when people started going into it, and I came back around the side, and there was people breaking the front door down and like breaking into the precinct, and I'm like, me and a couple other people like, get out of there, they got you on camera, they're gonna arrest you. Yada, yada, yada.
They caught a couple of those fuckers, too.
Oh, no, they did. And they did. They set that fucker out. They tried to burn it to the ground. They fucking burnt everything else to the ground.
Everything else was fucked. I still got some of that video, man. That shit was crazy.
But, yeah.
Crazy.
Yep, it went pretty wild. But like I said, it just escalated. And one thing after another, you know, it's kind of like locusts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they all just kind of change, and that's kind of what happened. Like over time, everybody was just like, "Fuck it all, let's burn this bitch to the ground." And I'm grateful to have been there for all of that, but we're at a point where everything is like, this is where we go to now. This is our answer for everything. This is fuck some shit up. And there needs to be a point where there needs to be something productive.
Well, it's going to be a while because, like, for example, like the trial for these cops that are involved with the killing of George Floyd.
Yeah.
They pushed that trial out to, like, spring.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you expedite that shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, how much evidence do you need? It's all on camera. They already leaked the body camera footage.
Yeah.
Like, those cops deserve to go to fucking jail. Like, I watched that whole fucking, I sent you that footage.
Yeah.
Man, it's fucked up. Like, it started as an escalated situation. Like, the cop whose camera footage that they leaked, he was talking to a dude on the other side of the car that George Floyd was driving. But, what's his face? Chauvin was on the other side, and so this cop here, whose camera you can see, he's talking all calm and chill with this dude up front, right? Mm-hmm. Other cop on the other side, like a couple minutes into this conversation over here, you can hear him on the other side of the car, "Get your hands in the air!" For what, man? Like, he was talking to the cop super chill, you know what I'm saying? He's just trying to get answers. Why the fuck is you yelling at him? And then he immediately handcuffed him, put him on the ground. Everybody else can see this footage on YouTube, man. I'm not going to narrate this shit, man. It's just, there's enough evidence in the air to, like, nab it, put it in court and fucking convict these cops for what the fuck they did. You know what I'm saying? But now you got these bullshit lawyers getting in the way, talk about, oh, well, we need more time. And then you get that one lawyer talk about, oh, if you look at the body cam footage close enough, you can see that he had 2 white spots on his tongue. And then when they tried to put him in the car and pulled him out, they were gone. He took some fentanyl. He blah, 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 killed himself. Man, shut the fuck up. That's dumb. That's dumb. I watched that footage. It's dumb. It's just dumb. Like, this whole situation is dumb. Like, how long until everybody realizes that we all got the same amount of fingers and toes, and that we should all wear a mask?
That's still not, you know. People think that's still up for debate. And honestly, we're never gonna get an entire hollow world, or fucking corrupt world. It's just always gonna be a mix.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think a lot of people are gonna have to fucking suck up and get used to change, because it's never gonna stop.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, man. Like, we've seen a lot of change.
Yeah, it's just not
a
gonna
lot,
stop.
And it's never gonna stop. It's ever constant. But like, when are we gonna get good change? You know what I mean? Like, as if they always say there's like some kind of good change, but it never benefits anybody except for some other group that they were trying to help out.
You know,
like,
all the good change already happened. Like, motherfucking,
like before we were born. Like,
yes, like way the fuck back. The person who invented
because I don't
fire,
have to pick cotton no more.
No,
like,
no. The person who invented fire, the person who fucking came up with the wheel. That's change you can
the
be
Iron Age, I suppose. Like,
yeah, that's change you could be fucking happy for, because you're no longer living in the fucking mud.
What was it? The fucking the computer age, I suppose.
Yes,
like
the Nintendo. That's about the fucking, look at where we're at with video games. Like,
you know what's funny?
wow.
Since we're on that subject, like, everybody was always like, "Oh, you're fucking grown ass adult. Like, why are you still playing video games?" And I'm like, "'Cause I watched that shit evolve. Like,
right.
it wasn't this shit that I'm playing now. Back when I was like 3."
I think people who say that are just fucking jealous that they suck at video games,
or they're peasants,
and they suck at video games. Yep. I honestly think that.
Well, let's wrap it up. This was totally not the podcast we intended on doing. So next podcast, tune in, because we're going to be spending an hour or so talking about the Karen epidemic. Also, what else was I going to say? We're also going to be uploading podcasts from our archives, because for a while we were only specifically uploading to YouTube. It was a dark day for us. But yeah, so we'll have some backdated podcast episodes. We'll definitely number them and date them accordingly, so you won't be confused. But yeah, definitely stay tuned. Keep an ear out for new episodes, because we'll be uploading those. What are we doing? Once or twice a week now?
That's what we're gonna try for.
Yeah, at least once a week. We're gonna shoot for twice a week. Yeah, thanks for listening. And again, I'm Sprout.
I'm Jeremy.
Stay frosty. That's not a good closing line. Hold on, let me try that again. I'm Sprout.
I'm not doing this.
Peace.
Gotta work on that one, Sprout.
I need a catchphrase. I have one, but it's not. It doesn't work for every situation. I can't just be like, "I did."